guys, it's your girl Mai-Ling, Pretty Flower 2618, founder and CEO of Dragon's Lair Entertainment. So I have a little story time for y'all. Get myself comfortable. How are you doing? I miss you. I know I've been so busy working on myself and getting a lot of work done. I'm actually looking for investors. So if you want more details on that, please feel free to hit me up on Instagram at prettyflower2618 or on Instagram at Dragon's Lair ENT. That's DRAGONSLAIRENT. All right, so this goes back to the time when a few years into my medical career, or working in the medical field, I was working at SonoraQuest Laboratories. I wanted to take on another job, like a part-time job. So where I was working, there was a pretty big hospital, like right near me, right near where I worked. So other people work there part-time as well. So I was like, might as well pick up a part-time phlebotomy job there. So I did that. And then maybe about 4 months into working there, I was asked to apply for the supervisory position, which I did, and I got. And so supervising the laboratory, the phlebotomy team, meant that I was now responsible for hiring. I was responsible for interviewing, scheduling, firing even. That was quite the task. I was ordering all of the necessary tools that we needed for the phlebotomy team in the lab, which included gloves, paper, all kinds of stuff for microbiology, because I also ran microbiology, like the setups. I also was tasked with writing and editing the what do they call, policy and procedure manuals. That was a chore. But I was working shortly after I took on the supervisory position, I quit my job at SonoraQuest, which was really hard because I had already worked there for, a couple of years, maybe a few years. And it was emotional for me because I loved it. I really enjoyed, just going in and having the relationships with my coworkers and whatnot, and I'm still great friends with some of them to this day. But anyways, I went full-time supervisor at the lab, at the hospital laboratory, and there was a period of time where, so during my time at the lab, my parents were watching, which are now my older two boys, my 26 and 21-year-old. So they were watching them during the day since I was married at that time. My husband was at work and I was going to work. So my parents were, babysitting and taking them to and from school. So, but then my dad needed to have a quadruple bypass. So that meant that my schedule had to change because my dad was not going to be in any condition, to babysit my kids. And my mom was, tasked with taking care of my dad, after his major heart surgery. So I switched my hours from working during the daytime to working at night. That way my husband could work during the day. I was with the kids during the day, taking them to and from school and whatnot. And then when he would get home from work, I would get ready and then I would go to work and I would work overnight. So when I was working overnight is when I got the most of this. So not only was I, you know, hiring, firing, doing all the scheduling, ordering, you know, editing, like doing everything, I was still running the hospital floors, drawing patients' blood, right? Running in and out of ICU. Like I had access to all areas of the hospital because like anytime there was a code, phlebotomy team had to, you know, run out and be part of that code, so that blood could be drawn. Anyway, during the overnight shift, especially on the weekends, we would get DUIs in, and a DUI stands for driving under the influence, right? So the sheriffs would bring in people who they pulled over and arrested so that we can draw their blood. It was crazy. There was so many people who would come in. They were like fighting, kicking, screaming, fighting. Like they were like trying to refuse the blood draw. But a lot of times the sheriffs would have to tackle the person down so that and hold them steady so that we could draw their blood. But I got to the point where it was just so outrageous, you know, them like fighting and like moving crazy, and I'm there with a needle trying to stick them, you know, and take their blood. That I was like, look, if you don't stop moving, like this is what I would tell the patient, you know, the intoxicated patients. If you move, it's going to hurt you. But I guarantee if you continue to move, one of two people are going to end up getting hurt. And I guarantee it's not going to be me. You know what I'm saying? Because when they're, you know, moving and jerking around and stuff, like that could cause for me to end up with a needle stick. And then if it was a double needle stick where I stuck them and then ended up sticking myself or stuck the sheriff or somebody else with the needle, then, you know, like if it were me, I would end up having to go through testing and taking, you know, medication to prevent like hepatitis C and like all kinds of stuff. So it was really crazy. So yeah, I would have to like basically threaten them in front of the officer or the sheriff, letting them know like, look, I'm not going to do this. Like I am not going to be the one hurt. So you need to chill the out because like this is not going to happen. So fortunately, I never got hurt. I never got, you know, stuck with, you know, an open needle or anything like that. But it was really crazy. And I was handling some tasks today for a friend of mine, and just the whole driving while intoxicated, driving under the influence came up, and I was reading through it, and it just kind of, you know, jogged my memory about, you know, the time that I worked over at the hospital. And, you know, I was having to do that, but it was like, that was just one very small part of, you know, my job, you know, but it just kind of stuck out today, you know, just going through this whole, you know, this situation with my friends. And they were not, you know, drunk driving. It was just something that, you know, I had to read. But anyway, yeah, that was kind of, you know, crazy. But during the weekends, the nights, you know, when I had to change my shift over from working during the daytime to working at night because my dad had a quadruple bypass, I was, you know, it was pretty often that they would come in with another DUI, and I would have to, you know, get all suited up and, you know, walk out to the lobby area and draw their blood. It was crazy. It was pretty crazy. It was cool. I really loved that job though. And I worked there for quite some time as a supervisor. There was a lot of requests that I needed because I felt that I was overloaded as a supervisor, and so I had to, there were requests that I had to make, like if I'm gonna have a co-supervisor, I need them to be able to do more than just draw blood. You know, they're not going to sit in while I'm doing interviews. They're going to conduct the interviews by themselves. They are supposed to be equivalent to me. So, but all they did was, you know, run the floors and draw blood. Like, dude, I can do that plus everything else that I'm doing, the interviews, hiring, firing, you know, like everything, scheduling. I was coming in when, you know, I was responsible for those schedules. So if somebody called in and I couldn't find anybody to cover that shift, I had to cover that shift. So when that would happen, like I was working double and triple shifts. It was crazy. I was working like mad hours. And I have a co-supervisor that is just working their basic shift with, you know, and just drawing their blood. I'm like, this is not going to happen. If you guys do not alleviate this, I will be forced to resign and move on in my career, which, you know, ultimately I ended up doing that. And in 2002, I got into the field of dialysis, but that's another story for another story time. But yeah, I just wanted to tap in and share that little bit, you know, with you. I'm sure you guys could hear my kid. He's going crazy. I think he's in some kind of match on his game. They're on, what is it called? There they go. They're on spring break right now, so I let them stay up later and, you know, just enjoy their time off. But I'll chat with you guys later. Make sure you guys, if you're not already, check in the description of this video and subscribe to my other channel, Dragon's Lair Entertainment on YouTube. And then also make sure you guys follow, subscribe to Ant Team Smoke. We're doing a big push trying to get him to that 1,000 subscribers so he can become monetized. I can tell that his videos are being, you know, are in the algorithm, and even more so. So I'm just like super excited for him. So help me get him to 1,000 subscribers. And make sure you guys check out 440 Tees. 440 Tees, definitely. Shout out to Ghetto Worldwide. Make sure you guys also check out TRBRC. I'm going to be with them in Atlanta very soon. We're going to the Cassidy Hitman Holla battle. So I'll check you guys out soon. It's your girl signing out. Peace.
Grab your weed, cause you're now tuned in to the TRBRC podcast.
The real BRC. Team Smoke, Team Smoke.